going on? How's everybody doing? We got another edition of Athletes Corner, and we got a returning guest. We got my man Tony Gallo here. Last times he was here, we didn't really talk hoop that much. We didn't talk about his hoop journey. We talked more stuff about what he's been doing. But now we get into it. We're gonna talk hoops and everything he got going on and all that, man. Welcome back, man.
Hey, appreciate you having me, man. Always a pleasure to be here with you.
Yes, sir. First, we get into all that. Recent announcement: you will be head assistant coach at Salem State for the girls team this year. What role played? What made that decision?
A couple of different factors, man. First of all, I train a lot of the girls, so a lot of girls work with me skill-wise. Ashley White, the head coach, I've known since she was in high school playing, and it's convenient, man. It's right there next to my gym. I think it was a perfect segue into getting into it. I haven't done any college coaching like that, but this is an opportunity where I can kind of do my role, as we talked a little bit off camera, more focus on the skill development and building the team up. And the behind-the-scenes guy more than the guy right up front.
Yeah, definitely. And this is the head coach. Is she fairly new? Is this a fairly new head coach, or she's been there for a while?
Yeah, she's been there for at least 3-4 years now.
Okay.
She's younger. She's a younger head coach. She's come in and got thrown into the fire, and she's learned a lot. She was a good player. She got a good basketball mind, and I'm just happy to kind of help out and build a culture.
Yeah, and they're getting a lot more. They're getting a lot more kids from Lynn going over there on the girls' side to play. I know they got a couple, and then just the expanding of trying to get go deeper into Massachusetts and even out of state to get players. That one thing you might try to help with that as far as just getting players from out of state or players from different parts of New England to come up there, because it's a small school, but it's a good program over there. Just school wise and with the chance to play basketball there.
Absolutely, yeah. They pull in a lot of girls for the nursing program. So they have a great nursing program. But yeah, whatever I can do to help. I do have some resources where I could bring in some girls in state, out of state. But again, I'm more on similar how I run my thing now. I want to work with who's there, who wants to be there, and let's work. I think we have a potential to have 3,000-point scorers this year. Okay. So it'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's easy. You can walk there if you want to.
Right? Start right at Bigger World and walk right in.
Right. Let's go back to hooping. It all for all of us. It all started at the Lynn Elementary tournament. That was kind of the big deal. When did the love of the game start for you? I know. I've known you forever since you always had a basketball in your hand. But when did that start for you, the love of the game, and as the development grows?
Right. That's been before I can remember, to be real. Talking to my mom and pops, they put a hoop in my crib before I can walk, so I was throwing that ball up on my back. As you know, my pops is a basketball junkie. Right. He's between the age of 66, 68, plays every day still. But I've loved the game since the second the ball was in my hand, to be real. I can't remember life without playing basketball. So it's basketball is who I am.
Yeah, and especially around here, because everybody that starts playing around here, it's either it might have been the YMCA, Boys and Girls Club, maybe the Greg House. One of those areas that started, and kind of the friendships grew from there. When you first started over there, one of those how were you accepted by the older guys that not that much older, but they're a couple grades older.
Yeah, basketball years is a big age.
Right.
So my journey was a little different. Like I said, I grew up born in Lynn, raised in Lynn, but neither one of my parents are really from Lynn. So I was playing basketball in Boston and Roxbury before I really started playing in Lynn. My dad really had me out there. All his people was out there. Right. So I was playing with grown men at the age of 8 or 9 years old, really not allowed to call fouls, this and that. But I really started finding my niche playing at the Boys and Girls Club. Right. Started going to the Boys and Girls Club. At that time, they had one hoop lower than the other, so we were dunking. And a lot of people don't know, I'm putting Mook on the spot. He was probably dunking since 6th grade. I watched him touch the rim at that age, that's for sure. But probably started there, and just the people around, man. Lynn's a basketball community, right? So we all kind of gravitated towards each other, whether you're East Lynn, West Lynn, white, black, Asian. It really didn't matter. We found a common likeness, and we ran with it. And we didn't have much else to do. It's just hooping, maybe getting to the store, getting something to drink, but it was straight hooping all day.
Yeah, especially in the summertime. And then we go from there, and then we're getting into as we all getting older, we're getting to like the CYO times and all those. And I think those were some of the most crucial parts or times for basketball then, because I don't know if they still doing CYO nowadays.
Not really. But that CYO saved me because, again, I went to Washington until 4th grade, and I played on the team with, I think it was Corey Bingham, it was Louis Dominguez, Terrence Terrell. I don't want to leave out any names, but we had a good team. I think we won the whole thing. Stewie Primus was our coach. Yeah. So we had like a Hall of Fame guy, and I didn't even know it at the time. But then I went on from 5th to 8th grade. I went to like a private school in Danvers. My mom won like a scholarship. It was Star Market at the time, right there. She won something, sent us out. So the school I went to didn't have a basketball team.
Right.
So like I relied on Boys and Girls Club and CYO, and that's kind of, and street ball. I mean, I got cut from every team after that until 9th grade because I was too street ball. So like, but that was all I knew.
Right.
You know? So I had to figure out how to translate that game into a real basketball game with organization and structure and refs and coaches.
Right.
So that took some time, but the Boys and Girls Club and then CYO definitely did that for me. I played for St. Mary's.
Yeah, CYO. I think that brought out the most competitive nature out of everybody, because we got we got St. Mary's and Sacred Heart going at it, and then you got St. John's over there in Peabody. Them kids, and I thought in those games, you get to high school, you see the competitive, but it's like those days kind of prepared you for kind of the higher.
That molded us, absolutely. Because I mean, I had my career high. I think it was like 55 against Sacred Heart at that little gym in Sacred Heart. And that was I think I could play CYO because I was a freshman. Jeffrey Brito, Stead, all them, they made varsity as a freshman. I didn't. So I was stuck on CYO, still playing and doing my thing and still molding my craft. So it was a blessing.
Yeah.
It was a blessing.
Yeah, and the travel, too. The travel was cool. I like the travel with that. At that point, so we get to high school, you go to Tech. I mean, they're coming off, they won it a couple years before you got there. Then I think they was like close to going back to the Fleet Center at that time. So when you got there and you're seeing like just how successful they are as far as like making deep runs in the tournament, what was kind of like your angle trying to figure that out and get the opportunity to be a contributor on the team?
Right. So my decision to go to Tech was a last minute decision. I wanted to win. I'm school, this and that, but I based my life off, did you win or did you lose? And I was going to classical until that summer. And then I ended up playing it was the Hogan's tournament then, the Shoe City now, but Hogan's Classic, or we call it Mary Gardens tournament. And then that's the first time I actually met Coach Avery. And he seen me play. He talked me into it. He said, we won this, we did this, and this, that. And he sold the game. And beginning of August, I said, I'm gonna go to Tech instead of classical. So getting there was a culture change, man. They did things different. I didn't know what hard work was. They had great players. They won. So, like, me as a freshman, I thought I should play varsity. Right. I thought I played well enough to do it. But as I look back now, they had established a culture. I had to wait my turn, which is fair to say, right? And I appreciate that now because that lit the fire. And then I played JV with Fred Hogan, was my coach. Right. We were playing varsity teams. We were blowing people out. We were probably the best JV team in the state. And a lot of people will tell you that. We had really good players. I think even Kevin Avery, twins? One of the twins, was on there with us, played full-time. Kenny played half and half. Warren. So we had guys that could have played varsity that just our varsity team was just too good. Right. So again, they won. I played JV as a freshman. As a sophomore, I came back with the mentality that I was going to find some minutes. Right. I worked all summer. Went to Sunday. We ran Sunday practices and put in the time, and then still made like half JV, half varsity. But I ended up, doing enough to get that varsity spot. Yeah. Go ahead.
And you had those older guys ahead of you, CB.
Yeah, CB. CB was the man. His spot wasn't going nowhere. We had Wendell Hurd, we had Jamal, we had the twins.
Ahmad was on you?
Ahmad was there my sophomore year, half my sophomore year. Because we were like Dave Bennett. We were like 6'10", 6'8". We had Rob, who was 6'9", too. Yep. It was just a crazy dynamic. Those practices were... won't even talk about it here, but those practices were something that you won't forget. We had some wild practices. But we had a culture that we were tough. No one was gonna be out tough us. Our mentality was stronger than anybody else. And if you're gonna beat us, you're gonna be better than us. Yeah. And that was it. And we can all live with that. We were prepared to go out for war.
Yeah. From seeing that first time when they got to TD Garden now, Fleet Center back then, but TD Garden now. They got there, then I think they lost. I forgot who they lost to.
Man. So this
because I was at that game, but I forgot who the team was.
Now, this is my freshman year you talking about?
Yeah.
Bro, I'll tell you this. I don't even know. I was so stuck on my own. So me, as a person, like, I didn't watch basketball as much. I played it more. So, like, after my JV game, if we weren't on the road, I probably went to the Y and went to hoop.
Yeah.
Like, you got to understand, our varsity games were at 5 o'clock. So, like, we would play our varsity game, be done by 6:30.
Yeah.
Even when I was playing, then I'll go to the Y and play because the men played at 7 to 9.
Yeah.
So then I started hooping with the guys. So we would play our game, or I would watch, whatever. Then we'd run over to the Y. So
Right.
I couldn't even tell you who they lost to, but I know they got there.
Yeah, because I was at that game. It was a close game. I just can't remember the team. But and you see that, and then the following year, you guys are right back at it.
Right back at it. So that year was dope. For me, again, on my role, I had a couple good games, but I'm the 8th, 9th guy, maybe.
Right.
You know, we had Stead. We had, obviously, CB was leading us through that. Molly G was holding it down. Like, we had a good squad. We had a really good squad. And I think we went undefeated. We won at the Garden against Watertown, I think, and we lost. We went undefeated until the last game. We lost in the championship game at UMass Amherst against Whitensville Christian. I think they had 2 6'7", 6'8" guys. They had a 6'3" point guard that went to Assumption. It was something none of us ever seen. I think CB had 33, if I remember correctly. CB went off. He put us on our back.
That's funny. Whitensville Christian is like a small town, too.
Small town. Like, we didn't know what was hitting us. We're out there. You know, we got here. We're undefeated. So our swags, you know, we seen them boys. I mean, it was a whole different world. And we weren't big. Like, I think Kevin Gina was probably our biggest guy. We had Dave Bennett, but then CB was our second. He's our point guard, shooting guard, small forward. He did it all for us.
Yeah, he said Kevin Cleveland was injured that year too, and he was like the leading rebounder.
No, Kevin was and I'm not gonna go out and make excuses, but if we had Tick, we win a state championship. He's the X factor. Kevin got hurt in a layup lines at our home gym. With the floor doesn't look like it looks now.
Right.
So he got hurt during layup lines. I think the game, maybe our first state tournament game, maybe, or the game before. So it was a huge hit for us, mentally, physically. But what he brought, he did everything for us. Scored, rebound, assist, defense, dove on the floor, talked. Like, he did everything for us. So I'm a true believer. If we had Kevin for that last game, we were a state champion.
Yeah, he said the same thing. He said the same thing.
But it is what it is. Injuries is part of the game, right?
Yeah,
we live it. We've been through it. So,
but just getting that whole experience of getting to TD Garden and then playing in a state championship game, just the environment that was at TD Garden, the environment that was at in the state championship game. You said at UMass, so you go from you're playing where the home team plays, the Celtics play, and then you go to UMass where it's kind of like, a lot of people, that's kind of their goal to go play basketball at UMass because of the history there. I mean, when you guys go to those arenas just as basketball fans and savants, was there like any nerves just looking around, we really here, or was this just like, oh man, we got a chance to hoop here, let's go hoop?
Right. No doubt. For me personally, definitely was excited, but just was ready to go, to be real. Like, I felt like I belonged, honestly. And again, I think I hit like 2 threes that game. I had like 6 points as a sophomore, whatever. But the moment, like, and this is still, even when I played, overseas and D1 in front of 30,000 people, I always got those butterflies right before. Once the ball's tipped, it's gone. Once the game started, it's just locked in. I don't hear nothing. We don't. And people talk about that all the time, but that's real stuff. You gotta lock in, tunnel vision, and figure out, because there's a lot of distractions out there.
Yeah.
So like for me personally, I was excited. I'm young, 15, 16 years old, but we wanted to win. I think all of our mentality is like, we got into this, a business trip. We're excited to go, but like, we want a state championship. Yeah. And that's kind of mentality we had.
Yeah. Now CB's leaving. Now like the new you, Stead, Brito, y'all are the vets now. You guys are the leaders. When it's time for you all three guys to step in that role, was it a lot easier just because the familiarity you all had with each other and playing so much basketball with each other as far as like summer leagues and all that? It was just that transition, having CB graduate, Maul is a senior now, and then now you guys are they're giving you more leeway on offense and, to do more for the team.
Right. Yeah, so, I mean, like anything, those before us kind of set the foundation, so it was easier for us to pick up. But it was a new world. Like you said, we relied so much on C that that we had to, figure out who we were as basketball players on this team.
Right.
Now, me, Jeffrey, instead, we play ball together every day, like at Breed or wherever. Like those are my two best friends.
Right.
So we hooped every day, so we knew each other's game. But then a guy like Molly G, I've known since I've been 9. He used to come on my street and play. Then we got the twins, so we all had familiarity.
Mac too was there, right?
Mac was there. Yep,
Yeah.
Mac's lockdown. Junior Martinez.
Yep.
So we had a great nucleus of guys that knew each other personally, knew each other basketball wise, and we all kind of had the same mindset. We wanted to win. Like, we didn't have egos. Like,
Right.
I never really remember a time where we had an ego and it was like, this is my team. Like, Stead was supposed to be the man. He was the best player I watched in middle school and growing up. Like, he made me a whole different player.
Right.
But, like, I kept working, and, like, my competition was Stead. His competition was me, so we continued to get better.
Right.
Challenge each other. Now, he scored his 1,000, I scored my 1,000. It wasn't a competition to get there.
Right.
I didn't really know I was close to 1,000, to be real. But without that dynamic, neither of us would have been the players we were.
Yeah.
So it started right after the season, really. Once we knew, CB was graduate, this and that. We did a summer league, fall league. That's where we kind of took control, and then we always did Sunday morning practices, workouts, and that's where character was built.
Yeah,
so
'cause
I think we were ready for the moment, man.
Yeah.
CB and those guys, again, Stead and Jeffrey did it as a freshman. I watched it.
Right.
Then they did it as a sophomore. They had more of a role than me, and I still watched it, was a part of it. So by the time my junior year came, I was ready. I was ready.
And Coach Avery put y'all in like every summer league possible.
Played a lot of basketball. Plus, we played at home. I mean,
yeah.
played basketball for 8 hours a day, bro. Like, no exaggeration. Like, summertime and even during the school year. Like, I used to break into Tech. Like, the back door, you just pull it really hard. I'd be in there. It got to the point where the janitors just let me be. Like, I would go there before school. I'd be there late night. Like, it didn't matter. But Coach Avery had us playing. We loved to play. So that combination just went hand in hand.
Yeah, definitely. When did the focus, because now people seeing you putting up these numbers. I mean, when did you realize, like, okay, now these dudes are the game planning for me. Like, the defenses are game planning for me. Like, putting boxing one on me or double team on me. Was that hard to adjust? Cause they're purposely just gonna not make sure you don't score, and then let everybody else do it. Like, how are you able to adjust to that and still be effective?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. At times it got annoying. It got frustrated. But you have to learn to trust your teammates, right? If they're putting a boxing one on me, then they use me as a decoy, and that's what we did at Tech. We had a couple good boxing one players because I think Coach Avery always had top guys. So CB got boxed in one. Guys before them. So, like, we had a couple good quick hitters that worked, and we had a solid team. So, like, if they're gonna box and one me, you're gonna go down 20 quick. You're gonna have to switch up the game plan. So we would see boxing ones, triangles and twos with me instead. But we always kind of knew what to do.
Right.
And again, I felt like, and I'm a big believer of this now as a coach. I'm like, if they box and one you, that means one person's denying you the ball. Get open. One person shouldn't stop you from getting the ball. Now, when you have the ball, there's two people on you. Now you're a playmaker. So that's how we both looked at it. Like, and we would, Coach Avery told us what to do, and we trusted our team. But it was an adjustment at first. It was an adjustment at first to figure it out.
Yeah.
But teams didn't succeed with it. It didn't work because we had too many weapons.
Yeah, because watching those days, it was like that wave of substitution.
That was quick.
Right. The wave of substitution. Yeah, but the guys he brought in, like, he'll bring Junior Martinez off. He'll bring Mac, especially when he brings Mac off the bench. Mac is just 100 miles per hour coming in.
Absolutely.
The twins, one of the twins coming in. So it was kind of like, if you're not conditioned, you're not gonna be able to keep up with us.
Yeah,
It was
no,
one of
not
those
at all.
things, right?
We didn't get tired, man. Like,
Yeah.
I talk to the kids now. I don't understand how you guys get tired. Like, even in college, I played 36 minutes a game at the Division I level and don't really remember getting tired.
Yeah.
So it's like, you better condition because it is a track meet with us, and we're gonna press the whole game until. I mean, we got into trouble for a game pressing too much. I think we beat a team 100 and something to like 15. And we got in trouble that game, and that kind of. Coach Avery said, "You instead, you guys got to get your 20 plus in the first half because." My senior year, me instead didn't really see the second half much unless we played the East Bostons, the bigger schools. Like, but other than that, we're getting our numbers first half.
Right. Yeah, that I remember. And it was wild too. I'm thinking about now the rivalries. Tech and Chelsea was a thing. That was a thing back then. It's not so much now, but that was a big thing back then. What do you remember from those games?
So Chelsea was always good. They had the little quick guards. Even for me, I'm not a big guard, but the little guards are always the ones that gave me trouble. Caesar was young then. Caesar was young. They had the kid, Tutu, little kid. He still plays in loose leagues, actually. Little braids. Tutu, I think his name is. Dudes would know him, but he was actually good. They had some dudes. I can't remember names, but we battled them. Our biggest rivalry in our division was Minutemen. They actually got us out of there in a state tournament game one time. We were supposed to win it. They would bring in all these kids from Boston. They had a good little connect. That Metco, yep. So they had a nice little. They had Mike Young. They had Caesar and Royce. They had a good little team, man. So they got us out of there one time. But those are the best games, man, because it wasn't fun blowing people out, to be real.
Right.
Again, not playing the whole game or not, and that cost us when we got to the States because we're so used to these cupcake teams.
Right.
Now, when it's neck and neck, we don't know how to handle that adversity the way we should because we haven't been accustomed to it over and over. So we're not. That's kind of a foreign situation for us. So I do felt that hurt us in times, not having such a strong out of conference schedule. And we picked up some teams. Don't get it twisted, but. Our league was just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have been there. Shouldn't have been there.
Hey, man.
But we also didn't handle business either, so.
Yeah.
You know
I mean, we've seen it now with, that's like the same thing we said about English now for the last couple of years. You know,
right.
they run through the league and then, it comes down to the state tournament. It's just some of those games. You were nominated for McDonald's All-American game, correct? When you got that letter, what was the feeling like getting that letter and getting acknowledged like that?
Right. It's confusing. Because I wasn't highly recruited. I had some, I had schools recruiting me, but I wasn't highly recruited. But I just wanted to know why, like what made me nominated. And then a lot of people don't know I actually ended up being an alternate. So if two guys got hurt, I played. Mm-hmm. So it's the first time in my life, I'm wishing injuries on somebody. But I mean, either way, it was a great experience. It was a great. Just as I look back, it was a great achievement to even be acknowledged. Not a lot of people get that. But at that time, again, I didn't think much of it. I was like, damn, I don't have a full ride to college right now. Forget this, But I do appreciate the acknowledgement. Yeah. It was cool. My now I get to show my kids, and it's the little articles up in my gym, so the kids read it all the time. So it worked out.
Yeah. So you finish out your career at Tech. You get your 1,000, you get all the accolades, and then you're starting to think of what's next, right? What were the options for you at that point when getting ready for graduation? I know you ended up at UMass Lowell, but then what was kind of like the process in choosing what were the options that you had on the table?
Yeah, so Lowell wasn't really in my plans. I was going prep. That's that in my mind. That's the movement was happening. All my AAU teammates were going prep. My boys, everyone's going prep. So I'm going prep. I'm going to Tilton. In my mind, Marcus O'Neal, whatever. For whatever reason, I got all my letters late. So like the letters and the interest was sent to school. I didn't get it till late. So I'm thinking, okay, now season's over. I'm gonna talk to these schools and that. They have no more money left. Right. So now I'm just kind of hanging out to dry, whatever. I had a good AAU season. I ended up picking up a full offer from LIU, Long Island University, Division I school. So it's my only offer. I'm taking it. Taking it. So I'm thinking I'm going there, keeping it cool, whatever. I'm supposed to fly out to Long Island, sign everything. Compliance hits me up, says, we have to take back your scholarship offer. I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm not good enough? They're like, nah, grades. You don't, like, grades? I got accepted to, like, Columbia. I got accepted to some of these big schools. Right. What do you mean? So you got accepted to the school, but you didn't have enough core credits to pass the clearinghouse. Now, mind you, I didn't know nothing about this. Right. Coach Avery didn't talk to me about anything about this. So my dad's didn't play in college. So I had no idea. So I'm thinking I got 4.0 GPA pretty much, 3.9. I'm thinking I'm good. Right. I didn't have language. You're supposed to take 2 years of language. We had ended up taking 1 year night school at language at Tech because we knew. So they pulled it. They said, D1 can't do it. So then last minute, I'm scrambling around. UMass Lowell still had an offer for me. They only needed 14 core credits. So I took that. Yeah. Reluctantly, I didn't really want to do it, but my options were limited at the time. I think we're right in end of July, August. Like, it's not like I have much time to make a decision.
Right. And mostly every school.
Money's gone.
Yeah, they've already signed the players they wanted. So
it was lucky. UMass Lowell, somebody left, and the scholarship opened up. Like, someone committed and decommitted. Yeah,
because at that point, it's like, if you do go, it's like you don't have to redshirt or something.
Right. Yeah. And they wanted me to come play as D2. It's NE10's a great Division II conference. I mean, they're Division I now. Mm-hmm. So it's not like bad basketball, but it's not where my goals were. And then when I got there, it Campus was small. The gym was small. Coach wasn't what I thought it was.
Yeah.
I mean, it just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
So I stuck it out. I got hurt, so that was kind of a blessing for me. I had like a stress fracture in my foot. Coach actually took me out the boot 2 weeks early, put me in a game against Bentley. Right after the game, he says, since you played, you can't redshirt to get this year back, right? So he told me that right after a game.
Yeah.
So when winter time came, I got my intermission check, cashed it, and said I'm not coming back.
Okay.
I think 7 guys left that year. We had 3 Division I transfers: Chris Donald, who was a UMass Amherst guy; Corey Boston, who played D1 down south; and Robert Morris. So we had a good team. 7, 8 of us left after the first semester. So the guy got fired. It was a bad situation.
Yeah.
The new coach came in, offered me a scholarship back. At that time, my boy Scotty ended up going there too, and I'm like, I'm not coming back here.
Yeah. Now once again, you like trying to figure out the next move.
Bro,
my
life has been, and this is why I feel I'm great at teaching the kids and trying to give direction, because my life is just that.
Right.
Like, and not to anyone's fault. Like, again, both of my parents, they didn't play college ball. They didn't go to college. So we had no one to kind of take us through this process. I was just figuring stuff out. And the next couple of years gets even crazier.
Yeah.
So it's like,
you end up in California, right?
so I end up in Cali.
You end up in Cali.
So, long story short, I have no options. I'm going to either UMass Boston, who the coach there at the time offered to pay for my full school. He had cash for me on our meeting. And then another D3 school had heard what happened, had more cash for me and offered for me. So I would have went to D3 for free.
Right.
I had 2 options, whatever. But then I think, again, right before we have to make a decision, my AAU coach called me, Vern Gibson, who probably the guy that changed my life the most out of any coach. He said, one of your teammates, Peterson Bernard, is going to Cali. They need one more guard. I'm like, I'm out. They're like, this guy coached at the University of Pacific for 9 years. He has all these connects, this and that. So I talked to the coach. Coach is like, look, I've been doing this for 9 years. We have a solid program. I've never taken a player that I haven't seen play before, because he didn't see me play. He went off his word.
Right.
So you take this plane, buy a one-way ticket. If you're not good, I'm going to fly you right back. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to go out to Cali.
Right.
When we played pickup. The day we got there, he picked us up from the airport.
So
He's
you
like, let's go right to the gym. I didn't go to the apartment.
So you straight off the plane
Bro,
to the gym.
No apartment, no nothing, straight gym, no tour. He's like, let's play pickup. Had guys already there. Bro, I probably played the best I ever played. We played game to 11. I had 9 points, 2 assists.
Right.
Like, I scored all the points. Scored or assisted on everything.
Right.
Pulled me to the side. So I knew you were going to be good. I didn't know you was going to be this good. And from there, it was a wrap. We had a great team. Again, another little loophole to kind of go into. Like, I played there. I was first team all conference. Backstory, Cali has more junior colleges that play basketball in California than the rest of the country combined.
Right.
So, like, they have a state championship. You have UCLA, you have Purdue, you have all the high major schools are watching these games.
Yeah.
So it was unreal. And I was one of the top players in Cali. I had probably 30 offers my first year. Another loophole. So there's something called a 4-2-4 rule. Meaning if you go to a 4-year school, you have to go to a 2-year school, get your associate's degree before accepting another scholarship to a 4-year school. So I'm like, so I just put up 22, 8 and whatever. I have UCLA talking to me. I have a lot of schools talking to me. I had to stay another year. Yeah. A lot of schools fell off, right? I had to go out there. And then, I went back out. Still, mental, that's all I got. Went out there, killed. I think I was number 4 scorer in the whole state. I put up big numbers. And, again, I had offers 15, 20, and then ended up at Coppin.
Yeah. Did you, was that like your first time really being away from home for a long period of time? It's just you there. You there, family's on the East Coast, and it's just you. Did that make you grind more just because you're the only one out here representing yourself, kind of representing the family out here, and they can't come watch you play just because it's so far away?
I think subconsciously, yeah. I think for me, I just been a grinder. Like, I love the game, so like all I want to do is play ball. So like you telling me you give me access to a gym anytime I want. So I took full advantage of it. But it was my first time. Like, people don't understand, like, a week before I'm supposed to leave or a couple days I'm supposed to leave, my mom ends up in the hospital. Right. Like, so I'm thinking, I don't know if I can go. The doctor ends up saying, I think she has something going on, but I think a lot of it is just, like, anxiety attacks. She doesn't want you to go. So you got a decision to make. I left. My mom was in the hospital. I left.
Right.
I mean, this is ball. Like, I mean, that's my world. Me and my mom's is my world. But this is basketball, man. So I left. I was out there dolo, took a plane by myself because my teammate He was already out there.
Yeah.
Took a plane by myself. Got out there, took the risk, and just locked in, man. Just locked in, and I'm getting just figured it out. And I tell these young kids now, I'm like, leaving was the best thing that happened to me.
Yeah.
Like, easy, hands down. I became a man. I stand on my own too. Made my own money. I hold my own responsibilities. I didn't have to clean my room. I didn't have to do this. You know what I mean? So little things that you wouldn't do if you're home here. Yeah. Really, you're forced to do it. Like, you don't have any other option. So I think that definitely made me. It was probably the best thing that happened to me.
Did you run into guys that had that got to the league or had a chance to get to the league and that went to other like major Division I programs that you played against while you were out there in California?
JUCO?
Yeah,
I came across a lot of guys, bro, and I don't even know if I can remember names off the top. But there's one school called San Francisco City College. Bro, they don't recruit anyone under 6'4". Their whole 12 guys go D1. High major D1. Yeah. So all these JUCO guys you see now, they came from JUCO, this and that. A lot of them are Cali. But we came across some animals, bro. Some animals. There was a couple league guys that went to the league, and I can't remember names off the top, but went to the league from JUCO. From JUCO out in Cali. Because it's that real. Like, I played some JUCO teams, not even going to lie, that were better than some of the lower, mid-level D1 teams I played against. Just because it was just that high level. Yeah. I had a chance to play with Steph Curry at a Pro-Am. When he was out there,
he was in college. He
was in college, or he was just finishing up. Okay. It was during the summertime when I was out there. It was a pro-am down, and I was in the Bay Area, so that's where he was at, somewhere out in Oakland. But I played in like a little pro-am out that way and got to play against them, and it was a good experience. Yeah. But there was tons of NBA guys out there. But my mind, I was so locked in that I didn't really care what anyone else was doing, bro. Yeah. Like, I needed to get there. Yeah. My goal was the NBA. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. Like you just said, you end up at Coppin State. For back on the East Coast at least, so family could at least drive to your games, right? Now you're in Baltimore. People say stories about Baltimore, but every city has their good and bad. But what was it just like being in Baltimore? I'm sure that was an experience of its own over there, because Baltimore is quite the place.
That's real. So B-Moore's, that's my second home now. I'm not even gonna lie. I got a lot of people out there. Been back a couple times, but not much. But Baltimore's a different place, man. Again, growing up here in Lynn, I grew up a lot at Franklin Field in Boston, and my dad had me at Derby Field. So my dad was from the projects. It's a whole different world over there, bro. At that time, I think Baltimore was the #1 murder state in the country. So we had on our campus, right off our campus, they have all these blue lights. So these are like high crime, high murder areas. They were all around us, bro. So they give us little talks. We're not supposed to leave campus after a certain time. There's a mall 500 feet. We can only go when it's light out. We had pregnant girls getting robbed gunpoint on campus at the ATM. My windows were shot out a couple times. It was a different way of living. It was a different way of living. And we were out there, man. We were in the streets. We had to walk the camp. We had to go certain places. Like, if we wanted to party, it was in these little row houses. So it was a different experience, but it taught you how to move, man. Yeah. Like I said, I've always been cautious and aware of my surroundings. So you're always moving cautious. Like, we went to the store, the corner store. We all went out together. And I'm with 6'9", 6'8", 6. So it's like we all got on our Coppin gear. So we didn't have many problems with dudes there because they kind of respected our grind, which Baltimore's a basketball, especially that part. They're a basketball town too. So they respected the hoopers. We would go down to the Mello Center and hoop. Always much respect. Akil Carr, at that time, Josh Shelby was an NBA guy. I used to rock with him. It was during the time of the lockout, so we used to work out with him. And so Baltimore is very homey, right? It has a bad rep. It has its areas. It's very, the poverty level is crazy. It's all abandoned buildings. But the people there are genuine, and they care about their hoops, man. Yeah. They care about their hoops. Yeah. So Baltimore raised me in a sense, man. Yeah. Like, people that out here think this is tough out here, go to Baltimore. Yeah. Go to Baltimore for a little bit by yourself. You're right. Not downtown. Not downtown. Go to where it gets crazy.
The hooping now. You're living out your dream, playing Division I basketball, and now you're going against other Division I programs. You're traveling to Connecticut, Kentucky, playing in those arenas. Your first sense of when you first played in that one of those major market teams, and you're there. It was kind of like the feeling like, oh, I'm here now. Now it's time to really now the work really got to start some more.
Thought I was ready. I thought this is where it felt right. It felt right. And just a quick story, like my first day on campus, I tore my rotator cuff. First day. Like first day we get there, we're playing pickup. We're trying to see who's who.
Right.
I drive, my right shoulder, my shooting shoulder, just crack. So even now, I can't, my arm doesn't go any further than here. So I played my 2 years at Coppin, my 3 years overseas, a year in Canada, all with a torn rotator cuff. Never got surgery, nothing. So like that was a huge setback for me, but they contemplated surgery. They said it's a year recovery. So I got a year. So I fought through it. We worked. We built all the muscles around. Yeah. And you hear, if you watch any of my highlights, they'll comment on it, like Gallo battling a shoulder injury last year and this and that. But I got this far, bro. I ain't stopping. Like, this ain't holding me back. So I had to fight. Like, they had a guard there that was good. Like, he was probably the best guard I've played against. That's 6 foot, 6'1". As a defender, a ball handler. Kid Vinny, he was nasty. I ain't gonna lie. He had bounce, this and that. He was supposed to be his year that year. He'd been waiting. He was a senior. Mm-hmm. He waited his turn, but we battled for it. And I went out that starting spot. Again, our practices were 8 to midnight. So we practiced from 8 to midnight. Yeah. Mind you, we had a workout before that. We had individuals before that. We had strength training. So I'm in the gym, accustomed to what I'm used to, 8 hours a day. Yeah. So I'm cool with it. But that's where I felt I started separating because, okay, I'm in the gym 8 hours a day. They might just do the practice. They might skip a day. I ain't skip a day. We got on the Vertimax. We need to get in the cold bath. Like, I used all the resources there. Plus, I had to get cortisone shots in my shoulder. Like, that's the only reason I was able to play. I got 12, 13 cortisone shots in this one shoulder. You're only supposed to get 2 ever in the same spot. Like 12, bro. It was that bad. Like, I couldn't sleep at night. People don't understand the pain I went through. My trainers know, my coaches know, but people don't understand the pain I went through my 2 years at Coppin. Right. It was crazy. But I got better. I was ready for it. And then when we got to, like, UConn and we got to Kentucky, it was another game. Yeah. Again, the noise before, to see butterflies happen, once that tip-off happened, it's game time. Yeah. I had some of my best games against those schools. Yeah. Like, I averaged more against the top 25 than I did against teams in my conference.
Yeah. And was it also easier when you've seen guys like Ant, Tone, CB went to Toledo, when you see them that they were able to do that, and then now you're in that space that they were, was that just easier because guys from the city went to that level and were high productive players?
Right. Not really. Like, I respect their game, and like, again, Double A's a guy I talked to like every week for a while during when I was playing and after I was playing. And I played against him at the Y. Like, I didn't see him play in high school. I didn't see him play in college. That really wasn't. Again, I didn't watch basketball. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Tone. Like, I didn't see Tone play. I watched him play at Memphis, right, when he was on TV, but I didn't see him play before that. And CB, I just played with him my whole life. I know the Toledo thing didn't work out, but him and Paul was there. It didn't work out, and I thought they were going to do really well there. But nah, it's just always just been about what can I do. Like, I'm not comparing myself to this person, that person. Like, I'm just going. I'm gonna see what happens. I always felt like I was different. Yeah. And I think everyone that plays the game should feel that way. Right? You should feel that way. You don't get anywhere, second guessing yourself or comparing yourself to this person. Now, would I take little things like playing at the Y? I take the little hezzies, goes left like Ant Double A does. Yeah, hezzy go left. I do that 90% of the time. I'm not gonna say I copied him, but I witnessed his tendencies. Yeah. He's blowing by me left. I got to do something different. Now I'm going to cut the left off. He still shifts me now. That means you're a complete player. So now I can't take that away. So did I take bits and pieces? Yeah, for sure. But their experiences didn't make my experience. Mm-hmm. But it was good that they made it. We were all represented our city in some way. Like, Tone at the NBA level, me overseas, Corey at Toledo, right? Double A in Canada, like Israel, like, so we represented the city in our own way. So it's good to see that we've all done it our way in our space.
Yeah. And one of the most talked about games was the game against UConn going up against Kemba Walker, and that was one of those games because I think a lot of folks made that drive down there to go watch that game. Why do you think that game was just it's talked about so much to this day? Right.
No, I mean, first, Kemba was the best player in college basketball at the time, right? I mean, nobody was touching Kemba. UConn's one of the best teams. I think they were number 4 in the country. It was my first year at that level. So dudes around here kind of knew my story. But it was my first time at that level. So I think a lot of curiosity is one of it. Like, let me see if the kid can play at this level. or whatever. Or, nah, he's all right, but he ain't gonna do nothing with Kimba.
Right.
So like little talks, and I've never been the one to like hear the noise. Like I don't really care about the noise. To be real, that's just been me. Even today, like rank me 1, rank me 10. I don't care. It don't matter. But I think just everything that came with it, Kimba being who he was, me being who I was just it was a nice little dynamic. And the only thing I regret that game is I got in foul trouble the first half. I think I sat out like 12 minutes out of the first half. Started off well, still ended up with like 19 to like the second half. We ended up losing by 12. We were down like 20 when I got back in. We ended up losing by 12. But that game, like my pop still talks about that game. I had some big shots. I mean, he sends me videos of me one-on-one buckets with Kimba. But for me, the respect that I had for Kimba as a basketball player was there, but he's just another basketball player. Just another basketball player. So I cherished my senior year, that game against UConn against Shabazz Napier. Because Kimba, we knew who he was, but I grew up playing against and with Shabazz.
We see him at the Gardens.
Right. And his mom is cool. And I grew up playing against Timmy, his older brother, who led the state in scoring. Timmy was nasty. So, like, I was ready for that game, too. In that game, I played better. I think I had 22, 5, and 6. We ended up losing again by 12. I think Baz had a triple-double. But that game meant a lot to me. And then even after that game, we would always go in the back and chill with the families. And I actually got to see my scouting report that Jim Calhoun wrote about me. So I asked him, like, I want to know what he thinks about me. Jim Calhoun, I mean, he's a legend. So I got to see my whole scouting report. It was so detailed. So for me, that's probably my most memorable situation. Except not getting the win. I definitely felt we could have beat some of those big teams. I think we lost to like Illinois. They were ranked. Lost them by like 6. We lost to Purdue by, they were ranked. Kentucky, we ended up getting blown out. I ended up getting late because I got stuck in a storm here in Mass. So I pulled up to the game like 15 minutes before the game. Like I walked into 30,000 people. That was crazy. And then no lie, bro, they punched us. They had like 12, 14. They punched us. We got dressed. We go out there to leave to the bus. 10,000 people still out there. Those guys are signing autographs. We get out there, they're clapping for us. My teammates in there celebrating. I mean, I walked all the way around. Like, we just got smacked. Like, what y'all about?
Is it true what they say about the Rupp Arena? Like, when you walk in there, it's just like...
The joint's moving, The joint's crazy. And then it was sold out, bro. Like, sold out. And they had Brandon Knight. They had Terrence Jones. They went to the league. They had... one of the Lamb, he's a shooter. He went to the league. So they had like 3 or 4 league guys.
Yeah, I know who you talking about.
Not Jeremy Lamb. He played for UConn. The other Lamb.
Yeah, I know who you talking about.
They had like 3 league guys. And it's like, I'm getting buckets on Brandon Knight. He's 6'3" point guard, freak athlete. I know he gets a lot of stuff from the NBA. They make clown him, but college player.
College Brandon Knight. That year. I think he had a game winner in the tournament that year.
Probably. That man was nice. 6'3", long, quick, explosive, could shoot. Probably the toughest cover, to be real. Toughest cover. But that arena's dope. And they support their basketball, man. Like I said, they're cheering for us because we held our own against them. Like, I don't need your pity. Don't give me that. My teammates signing autographs and everything. They love it. I'm like, nah, I ain't with you.
Nah.
I ain't with it. We on the bus.
What's kind of like some of the biggest takeaways that you took from college that helped you as far as like not only from Coppin State but like from the opponents or like opponent coaches, the coaching the game plan against you and stuff like that? What's kind of the biggest takeaways or your biggest views as you look back at those times that still like kind of help you to this day?
Right. I think you kind of hit it, like more even on our coaching. Like my coach was there he was a Division I coach at the same school for I think almost 30 years. The same school, Fang Mitchell. That doesn't happen much. He'll probably end up in the Hall of Fame. So just knowing that, like he was the first coach to be a number 15 seed to be a number 2 seed in the tournament. I think they beat Texas. So like just having that expertise around me, and then 2 of the players that were coaches. 2 of the coaches were players for him. So like they've done it on the court, they've done it off the court. So I just think the resources, the knowledge behind it. And again, I was more in-house. I talked to my guys. Calhoun's probably the only other coach I really had a conversation with. Just because it's UConn, man.
Right.
I talked to Calipari just because he knew Tone, so we had a conversation, but it was nothing like that. But just the whole environment, going to a HBCU, given a whole different culture, learning about frats, learning about even just different food, different styles. I mean, it was a whole culture change for me, and I appreciate it. It made me into a person that was more diverse than before.
Yeah. That translates to you getting overseas opportunities.
Right.
I know. What was it? Was Poland your first one?
I was actually going to Poland. It was Holland.
Holland?
It was Holland. So so I that part was tough because my
Yeah.
coach at the time was trying to renew his contract. So even my agent, I had a good agent. Like I found that agent on my own. Like, well, he found me, but I went through the process of process elimination with agent I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting a decent one. He got me a good job. We had to go to his combine out in Vegas. And he got me a good job. He got me a good job my first year, making good money, had my own spa, had my own car. I'm in a good league. I'm in a top league. Yeah. And people don't understand. I tell the kids that I coach. I got there. The owner picks me up from the airport. He usually doesn't pick up. Brought me right to the gym. He put on my highlight tape. He's like, you know why we brought you here? I'm like, yeah, I put 20 on Kimba. I put this. Like, you're here for me to score the ball. Like, that's what y'all want. My first 2 plays, my brother did this highlight tape. I don't think he knew. I think one of it, I caught the ball. I got the rebound. I just outlet it. No dribble. Another 2 times, they got the rebound, kicked it to me, outlet. I didn't even cut the layups in because I think it was fouls and missed layups. So I just put the pass. He was like, we have a 6'8" and a 6'7" wing that run the floor. We need a point guard that can get him there. We lost in the Dutch Cup championship last year because our point guard wanted to score. So he's like, we need someone. He's like, if you go and get them the ball, we have good incentives in your contract and you'll get a great job the next year. So I did my thing. I think I only averaged like 8 points, 5 assists, 6 assists. And we played well. Like I won the Dutch Cup that year with them against Dumboss, which they haven't done in a big arena. And then I ended up getting hurt. I ended up getting hurt with like 6 weeks left in the season. I'm supposed to be out for 6 weeks. So they sent me home. So they had another conference championship, and the team and this is where my value ended up. This is where I got a good job my next year because the team we ended up beating in the Dutch Cup by a lot, and I ended up being the MVP, we lost to in the championship and conference. So, like, they brought in a different point guard, and he didn't do what was needed for that team. Yeah. And that helped me get another job after injury. But at that time, too, like, I came home. That was the first time I really met my daughter. A lot of people don't understand. Like, I was gone. Like, my girl picked me up at the airport. Picked me up from Baltimore. I went to my graduation with my kid. We drove back. My daughter cried the whole time. Then I was out. I was out with my agent doing this and that, working. Yeah. So I didn't really have a strong bond with my daughter at first until I came back from Holland. And a lot of people don't know, I came back, and then I was home for a little bit. Then I went to Canada. Like, I took AA spot in Canada because he got a job in Israel. So I went out there for playoffs. So they drove in their little Mill Rats van, picked me up in my crib in Lynn. Then we drove all the way to Toronto, played games, then drove all the way back to St. John. So I just went from flying around in Europe to driving buses. Yeah. So it's
that gotta be exhausting.
It was exhausting, but it was humbling at the same time. Then I came back, went back overseas for a little bit, did whatever, and then just wasn't it. Once I had that relationship with my daughter, I'm like, yo, something's missing. Something's missing, and that's when I was like, maybe I'll stay home. Maybe I'll stay home. Then I did something it was the D League at the time, so I was with like the 87ers.
That's down
in Delaware. Yep, down in Delaware, because I had a little connect from being in Baltimore. And then I did something with the Maine Red Claws because my guy Cam Twist worked for the Celtics. So, I was maneuvering, but I didn't have the fire. And I felt like my daughter did that, which is cool. Like, everything happens for a reason. I have over 20 kids in college that I've helped get there and scholarships given and saved millions of dollars to kids playing. So maybe that's my purpose. But that once that fire wasn't there, once I found something I love more than basketball, I think that's really what it was. I found something I love more than ball, and I had to put my energy in.
And now she's playing too.
She's playing when she plays when she feels like it. My second one's really on it. Talia, my first one's good. She's really good, but she just picks and chooses.
And
whatever. I'm
depending
not
on the mood.
Right. Do what you do. You're gonna be productive. You're gonna do something. But
right. But as far as like giving back, I mean, there's a lot of guys from Lynn that are now giving back as far as like coaching wise, player development wise. We're seeing more people who just immerse themselves more with the younger generation. You started your business. Just how important is that? Because one thing that everyone I talk to that are in this position now, they said they ain't have somebody like them now when we were young. Like somebody that just went and did it and came back and showed us how it's done, or just help us get better. Because our basketball training was what time we hooping. It ain't no we're gonna go work on this. We're What park we gonna be at?
Yeah.
We're gonna work on our game during pickup.
That's real. I still believe that's the best way to pick it up, right? Basketball is a reactive sport. So if you sit there and think and work on situations all the time, how are you gonna react? Now it's what I do in the skill development. I'm complementary to what you're already doing. That's how I put it as. Like I'm just here to give guidance. I'm here to maybe give you a little bit of pointers, this and that. Maybe add something to whatever you're doing or tweak something.
Right.
But like when you come see me, I'm complimenting what you're already doing. Because even if you work out with me once a day for an hour a day, 7 days a week, it's only 7 hours of basketball a week.
Right.
You're not going anywhere playing 7 hours of basketball a week. So, not to that point. Like I didn't. I had my pops, man. I had my pops who was just a bona fide hooper. Took me to play around. Again, we would go to Boston, we would go to Malden, we would go all in the same day. So like I ain't have that. So the fact that I do have, the resume and I've done it and I can, see the game from a different perspective than maybe they can from not being there. I think a lot of these kids do benefit from it. And I have some kids from the city, outside the city, that really take advantage of it.
Yeah.
There's kids that are in my gym at 1 a.m. I mean, there's kids like 7:15 in the morning. We're in there grinding in the morning, like before camps and everything. So the give back's part of it. Like obviously, like this is what I do for a living. Like there's payments that need to be made, but there's a lot of kids that are around me that just can't afford it. And I've never in 7 years of doing this told a kid no because of financial situations.
Right.
So that's just not who I am. So we'll make it work, but you got to show that commitment. And that's it. Holding these kids accountable. The accountability factor is huge for these kids now.
Yeah.
Knowing that stuff doesn't happen right away. Everything wants instant gratification. We want it right now. Like, no, it takes time. It takes time. Like, these guys you watch on TV, they ain't get good that fast.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, some got God-given talent that we don't got. But they all worked. So just really relaying that information that, like, you got to put in the time, the energy, the mind. All that got to be in it. It don't matter how tall you are. It don't matter where you're from. This city's small, man.
Right.
Look how much talent we got in this one city.
Right.
Guys that made it and guys that didn't make it. So just got to, us as, people that have been there, us as mentors, we got to, do our part and talk to these kids.
Yeah, definitely. I'm happy to see that Tech is back to where it's getting back to where it was before.
And you got the coaching. Look at the coaching staff, man. It's Tech guys.
Right,
like
right.
It's all guys that have been there, right? You got CB, Cap,
Right.
Stead, Jared. Like these are all people that played the game. They played there. That's a bonus, but
Right.
they played the game. So like that's pretty beneficial. They got a good special thing going on over there.
Yeah, definitely, man. We're running out of time here. I
Yep,
mean,
no
let them know, the facilities in Salem. If you right by Bagel World, folks, it's right by Bagel World, like legit right by Bagel World. If you wanna, but let them know if they want to look for more information on the trainings you do, player development. They want to put their kids in a session. Let them know where they could get all that.
Yeah. Camera I look at right here. But there we go. You can find my website is just TonyGallo.com. My Instagram is Tony Gallo Athletics. My gym's in Salem, 19 Hershey Street, right near Bagel World. We're in there. We're in there every day. Get in, drop in for a free session. I've been putting this out there. I've been putting a little trivia. You might be the guy to know this. I average 17 points a game at the Division I level. I need to know the last guard to do that besides me. Last player to do that besides me from Massachusetts.
Oh, damn.
From Mass. So that's the trivia. I haven't found the answer yet. So you're the man to tell me.
Damn, last guard from Massachusetts.
Or even last player, man. Don't even have to be a guard.
Yeah,
Last
man.
player that averaged more than 17 points a game.
On the college level.
Division I level.
Division I level, yo.
All right, you have to pull out the phone for that one.
Yeah. We'll get back to y'all on that one. Follow my IG. I'll answer that question. That's a good one.
No doubt.
Jeez.
I don't toot my own ever, but there's some stuff that people gotta understand. There's levels to things, man, and that's what a lot of these kids don't understand. And the adults, like, there's levels to this. Basketball, life, like,
I know it ain't Will Blaylock.
I don't think Will averaged that.
Nah.
Will was a complete player.
Yeah.
Bigger body, better point guard than me for sure. League guy. So I'm not saying the best player, right? I'm just saying points wise.
Because I remember his run at Iowa State. Because my brother was there at the same time. He was there, so
check that.
Yeah.
It was a good one.
That is a good
Demetrius Nichols at Syracuse was one that came to mind. He got buckets. So
one.
we'll see.
Oh yeah. Lastly, actually the Massachusetts basketball scene the last couple years, it's kind of blooming now with the kids kids getting these scholarships. Right. And now a lot more people are coming out here looking for players. It's great to see that.
Yeah, we've had that, man.
We had it for a long time.
In my opinion, again, decision making on some kids and families, but I think the prep thing is the best look for these kids. I know a lot of people downplay it and whatnot, but that's what's giving these kids opportunities, man. First of all, higher level basketball. Second of all, higher level education. Third of all, the network of people that go there. There's people that are paying $60,000, $80,000 a year to go to these schools, and some of these kids are getting I have a kid 95% scholarship at these schools. Right, now imagine that network of people you're building if you utilize that, and it's just giving them exposure. Because even the kids here in Lynn, like the best players that stay in public school here, they really don't get the opportunities to go anywhere that they might have had if they would have been in a bigger scene.
And also the landscape of just college hoops right now. The public schools, they're the bottom of the barrel now. Mm-hmm. They are the bottom. You could be super nice and actually be a Division I player in a public school, but it's just right now.
At that point you hit, my bad to cut you off. That point you hit there is you can be a Division I talent and still not get there. Yeah. Right? It's all about the resources, it's all about the network, it's all about where you are, who you know. Because it's
You're up against a lot. You're up against the transfer portal. You're up against
junior college players.
Right.
They don't really recruit in juniors and seniors. They used to recruit, freshmen. Now they'll throw out an offer here and there, those fake offers, but they don't really care how good you are now because they're looking for older players to win right away. Even at that level, it's instant gratification.
Yeah, which is why I haven't said that too. Which is why what Ademide is doing is great. Right. Because Ademide, you just straight 4 years in English, AAU, ends up at Gardner Webb and not even on an athletic scholarship. Right. He ends up there on an academic scholarship and then got the athletic scholarship.
See, I didn't know that either.
Yeah,
so that's dope. And I love that he entered the portal and then pulled out, which I love that these kids do have the resource and opportunity to make decisions. Yeah. I love that these kids have the ability to get paid to be here because every time we played UConn, my school got about $500,000. Right. We flew on nice planes, nice flights, stayed in nice hotels. But then we played FAMU in Florida. We busting all the way to Florida. Yeah. I mean, we got $25 to eat for the day. So these institutions are making a lot of money off these kids. I think it's only fair that they get some money back. Yeah. It's their name. Yeah. It's their work. Definitely. They come to watch them.
Definitely, and they got to fix that transfer portal too, because not everybody needs to be transferring all the time, but
there needs to just be some more support behind people that the transfer portal is, but you got to have the guidance behind you. Say, look, don't do it. You're good where you are, man.
Yeah, I seen one kid say, we signed here, so we might as well grind it out.
Teach their own, man.
Right. Hey, man, appreciate you for coming through.
Appreciate you having me through again.
Yes, sir. Y'all been watching Athletes Corner. Have a good one.